機はあと10分で到着します。着陸までの間、シートベルトの着用をお願いいたします。
今頃桐生がどんな顔をしてるか見てみたいもんだぜ。
でもこれで白鵬会の実力も分かったでしょ。
ああ、ここから先いよいよ峰会長の時代が来るってことだ。
東京に戻ったら今晩セッティングしましょうか。
何をだ。
これでもう峰会長の7代目は決まったも同然です。桐生に一泡吹かせてすっきりしたついでに7代目就任の前祝いですよ。
まあいいだろう。会長も喜ぶ。
でも6代目もガードが甘すぎでしたね。ずいぶんあっさりと打たれたみたいじゃないですか。
そうだな。まあ若い分トップとしての意識も甘かったってことだろう。まあ6代目も所詮は坊ちゃんだったってことだ。まあ今じゃ死人も同然だがな。
まったくです。
なんだって。
ああ、会長。こいつが峰会長のお祝いをぜひと。
何かめでたいことでもあったか。
そりゃだって。
何がめでてんだ。6代目が死ぬのがそんなにめでてえのか。ああ、めでてってえのか。
そうか。あんたはこれで沖縄と東京を1時間で行き来していたのか。
ああ、そうだ。これを使えば1時間もかからんよ。本当に今すぐ行くのか。
ああ、力也との約束だ。俺は峰と決着をつける。世話になったな。
何をしてる。まだ全てが終わったわけじゃないだろう。お前が峰を倒し、俺がリチャードソンを捕まえた時、その時までこのシェイクハンドは取っておこう。では行け。お前たち2人でいいんだな。
ああ、一緒に行ってくれるか、はるか。
俺は後から向かう。病院で堂島大吾を見つけたら屋上に向かえ。俺は救助のヘリを回す。
分かった。
気をつけてな。
じゃあ病院の屋上で待ってるぜ。
6代目。
会長、リチャードソン様からお電話です。
ある。 OK, got it. No, there's no change in the plan. Bye. 桐生さんが沖縄を出たようだ。あと少ししたらここへ来るだろう。
いかがいたしましょうか。
別に気にすることはない。奴らが到着したら全てが終わる。
ねえおじさん。
なんだ。
おじさん、今から大悟さん助けに行くんでしょ。どうして私に一緒に来てほしいって言ったの？いつもなら私が行くって言っても止めるのに。おじさん死ぬつもりなんでしょ。もう死んじゃうから最後になっちゃうから私のこと連れてきたんでしょ。
ごめんな、はるか。
え？
もう一度お前とこの街を見ておきたかったんだ。
おじさん。
すまん。俺がわがままだった。やはりお前は沖縄に。
大丈夫。私すごく嬉しい。
はるか。
本当だよ。嬉しいよおじさん。
It's to make me want to cry every friggin' time, man. I was laughing at Hando Sheku and there's no changing the plan, and then I'm about to cry because Haruka's like, oh, god damn it. Okay, it's nice. Just me and Haruka back in Kamurocho. I should think about heading to Serena and filling Date-sen in on everything that's happened. Yes. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that first, and then we'll finish up sub-stories. Because we'll have the last few. The ones I... Oh. How am I going to avoid the American? No idea. He's right in the way. No, wait. If he's CIA, then he might just be here. Hey, excuse me, Kiryu-san. Who's asking? The name's Rick Langley. Sir, with the CIA. I'm here with a message for you from Joji Kazuma. A message, huh? That's right, sir. He said if you want to go back to Okinawa, you'll need to first take a taxi to Yokota Airfield, then hop on a jet down. Joji is on his way here as we speak. He'll be seeing you soon enough, I imagine. Right. Tell him I said thanks. Of course.
Hi.
Goodbye, sir. Okay, he was an okay American. That's good. Bye! Bye, Rick! Rick Langley. Okay, I forgot for a moment. I thought maybe that Burakumunde had people out looking for me or something, but I guess we're fine. That is him! Hello? Ah, hi. Kiryu, you're back. For now, yeah. And I see you brought a little someone with you. Guess that means everything's settled, huh? We won't have to worry about Joji Kazuma or having our land taken away from us anymore. And the Hakuho clan? That's actually why I'm here. I have reason to believe Mene is on his way to the hospital where Daigo's staying. And I need to stop him before it's too late. I'm afraid to say he's already there, baby boy! Anyway, I can help. Yeah, look after Haruka while I'm gone. What, that's it? You're not thinking ahead and then they're all on your own, are you? Dude, you know me. I've done this a billion times before with you fully acknowledging that I'm doing that. You know me. Now hold on a second. You can't just... What am I thinking? No matter how hard I fight, you're still gonna do it. Alright, I'll keep Haruka safe and sound while you're gone. I appreciate it, Date-san. But do me something before you go. Say goodbye to her, yeah? I can do that. Now, from here we can have her come with us, or we can go out on our own. She is currently following me. Is it time, Uncle Cass? I don't know. I think if you go to Toto Hospital... If you click go to Toto, then I think you have to speak to Date, or you have to go and hop in a taxi. I can't recall. Let me check real quick so then I don't mess up. Okay, I'm good too. We're gonna do this stuff without her for now. Yeah, it's time I put an end to this.
Oji-san?
Just come home safe, okay, Uncle Kaz? I will. I promise. Oh, you promise, so you definitely have to. Don't worry. Just wait here. I'll be back before you know it. Okay. She's gonna wait here. I'm gonna go and finish off some sub-stories, then we'll come and get her. Do the final sub-story of her. Final one with her, not the final sub-story. And then... that's about it. We'll be back, we'll be back. Time to head to Toto Hospital and save Daigo. Guess I'll need to grab a taxi there. No, Kiryu, we're not done. Tuna Fund! Soda from the Tuna Fund here! How have you been? The tuna are growing so fast we're already getting calls from interested buyers, including tuna canners. That's why I'm thinking of expanding the tuna farm to 10 times its original size. But I'll need additional investments. Let me know if you're interested. Who's messaging me? My sister. We still got the dude with the bigger fibish. The Tuna Fund, huh? I hope that guy's at Sushi Gin. Might as well do that one then. Seeing as.
いらっしゃいませ。
Has the tuna farmer been around at all lately? Oh, you mean Sawada-san? Can't say I've seen him lately. I remember he said his office wasn't far from the Millennium Tower. I think I heard he'd rented out the 6th floor of the building Green Rooms Realty is in. The building Green Rooms Realty is in? Somewhere around Millennium Tower. Got it, thanks. Sorry, chef. I've got to go. Oh, is that so? Well, be sure to come back again, alright? Aye. Wakattemasu.
ありがとうございます。
Sorry. Sorry I didn't eat sushi while listening to your divine enka. My bad. Green Room's Realty. Green Rooms. Found it. I found it. Green Rooms. This should be the place. Sawada's office, the headquarters of the infamous Tuna Fund. Go inside. Here goes nothing. Bum bum bum. What's up with this crowd? Did you get hoodwinked by Sawada too? He talked big about the tuna farm of his, but it turned out to be one big pack of lies. I bought 1,000 shares. What's this photo supposed to be anyway? I hope that swindler gets what's coming to him. What little pension I had went to this scam. If I don't get that money back, I won't be able to afford to live in public housing anymore. Sawada, that bastard. Looks like he already skipped town. This office is just an empty shell. We've got to call the police and file a report so they can track him down before he gets away. Great, I lost a lot of money. Something's fishy. Haha. This place is too neat for him to have run away in the night. Hi, Sawada. Sawada! I figured you'd be hiding here. Damn it! I thought everyone was gone!
なんだと?
Hey guys! Get in here! Give this guy a beat down so we can run off to Hokkaido already! Come on, get him! Whoever takes him out gets a nice fat bonus! Really, dude? Wow. What? What's with the sweep? Mate? What the fuck was that? I'm so confused. Shit. Ah, group fight's my favorite. Ah, man. What the shit? What the shit? Salsa da goi. Nai. Bro, what the shit? What the shitty shit? Fuck. I've got a chair. Take a seat. No, not me. Don't take me. Take on me. Take me on. Oh my gosh. A shoop? I'm so hurt by how bad I'm being. Daruma! I said fucking Daruma, you plunkhead. Fuck off! I wanted to change direction. Whoops. I hate group fights with a passion. Fuck off, bro! Oh gosh. Why do you keep grabbing things, dude? Kazo ataru! Oh. Yeah, bitch! Wait, I didn't want to grab the Borelli! I wanted to fucking parry him! Oh! Die! Shine! Sofa. Sofa da yo! Yeah. Why? No! Shit! For real, they block too much. No! Yada. Fuck you. Oh my god. Looks like I'm going back to Sushiken after this. Oh, you're a bitch. Yeah, well. Oh my god. Tell I haven't played in a couple days, right? I wasn't trying to con anyone. I even built the damn tuna farm. That's enough out of you. Your Okinawa office was a sham too. When I went there, all I found was some cafe. What? You went all the way to Okinawa? Damn. I guess there's nowhere left to run. I think it's about time you paid me back for 100 shares, the 100 shares I bought. I thought I went for 1,000. Alright. Here's your 1 million yen. Hey. And to make up for all the trouble I caused you, please take this too. Maguro. Tuna? Yeah. I use these fish for the photos. They're real, and quite delicious, I assume. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, so please take them. Cook them up or something, whatever you like. That's paid with tuna. Figures. That hurt my soul. How many fibish did I get? Got 4 fibbish. Look at the 4 fibbish. If they all sell for 100 tau, that is 400,000 yen. That's not bad. Now I need to go feed this man. Oh boy, that was awful. Okay, this. I wanna go do the ramen one, so we'll go that way. Holy fuck. Oh. Ow! Ah, it hurts! You went all the way to Tokyo just to start again?
Oi!
Hey! Which way you going, jackass? Huh? Don't I know you from downtown Ryukyu? What? Oh shit, it's you! Yeah, you're the guys who kept bumping into me. What are you doing in Kamurocho?
Oh!
We, couldn't pull the bump scan in Ryukyu anymore, so we seeking greener pastures up here in Tokyo. We thought it might be easy pickings on account of there being more people to bump into. Guys, Tokyo's no place for 2-bit get-rich-quick schemes. The city is tougher than you know. Hey, asswipes! You the guys who scammed my friend? Huh? We told you. He told me you bumped into him and then took his money to pay for the medical bills. Well... Fuck you guys! We're gonna kill you! Please, let us go! Like hell we will! How about we shake you down and show you what real medical bills look like? Please, let us go! Aniki, help! Who are you calling Aniki? You made your bed, now lie in it. Us Rocky and I gotta look out for each other, please. We'll do anything. We never thought we'd be held accountable for our actions. Please, Aniki, save us! What do I do? I want to leave them to their fate, but I also want to beat someone up. All right, fine. But just this once. Sweet mercy, thank you. Okay, gentlemen. How about settling this the easy way? I'll personally make sure these clowns pay back the money they stole. We'll give it all back, every last yen! No can do. This isn't about the money. This is about respect. We just won't be able to sleep until we've rearranged these shitheads' faces. The hard way it is, then. This is what you get for sticking your nose into other people's shit! Hey guys, mess them up! This music again. Oh no, we got a fast boy here. No, wait, I've got some fancy shit. Hold on! Whoosh. I think that's like one down, so the rest to go. Oh, you're a bitch, bro. Oh my god, I hate that I can't grab it. Oh, I get it. I've seen this moveset before. On a DLC character. It's awful. No. Oh, I can't even pick stuff up because they just hit me. They hit me too much. Why are you such a bitch, bro? Why are there no bikes around here? Come over here so I can go and grab a bike in time. Or not. Yes, exactly. Look at this bicycle. There we go. Fujiwara. Yeah. Oy. Oh god, it hurts. The hell kind of demon are you? Do you even realize how many asses you just kicked? Will you leave us alone now? Fine. We'll stay away. Trust me, we don't want a jack shit to do with this. Come on, guys. Let's get out of here. Good riddance. What? Walking away, are ya? Fucking wusses. Quiet, peanut gallery. Okay. Whether you're in Okinawa or Tokyo, these half-assed schemes of yours are just aren't going to work. Yeah, okay. We're sorry. If you really get it, then you'll change your ways and start living an honest life. We get it! We get it! Yeah, this is for scaring us straight. Money! Money! Let's hightail it out of here, my dudes! My dudes. Hope they've learned their lesson. I doubt it. As I was saying, I want to finish the ramen story. Now that we're not getting interrupted by the con wars, or a new con as that one was called, let's go in. Well, how was it? That bone marrow extract just about kicks you in the teeth. Oh wait, his accent. But then the pigskin comes in to soften and sweeten the blow. It's a fighting fit tonkotsu for sure. Not to mention the broth's so darn good. You could drink it to the very last drop and still want a whole nother cup. So what do you think? Worthy of the Kyushu #1 star name? Well, I'd be darned. That was actually pretty good. First thing I noticed was the bone marrow. Goes down smooth like gravy on a water slide. Gotta say, wrapping it in pigskin collagen was the right choice. And those thin noodles? Absolutely brilliant. Tastes right at home with the broth. I noticed you put a few other goodies in that balance out the flavor. And as you said, I could drink it to the very last drop. Now this is a rich tonkotsu that put us on the map. It's amazing how you could condense all these complex flavors into a cup of instant noodles. Nice work figuring that all out. Well, it quickly became obvious that I couldn't just use your recipe. There was always something missing, it seemed. So I had to think outside the broth. So I focused on methods unique to my industry in order to really pick apart the magic of how it's made. See, in order to bring out the rich tonkotsu flavour, I had to crush the pork bone. And I mean pulverise it. Otherwise the collagen wouldn't leak out into the soup. Well, whatever you did, you got the flavour down pat. This is the kind of noodle I'd be proud to put my logo on. Then, does that mean my creation passes the test? Oh, I'd say it passes with flying colours. You may use the Kyushu #1 star branding with my full support. Yes! Now I can eat Kyushu #1 star ramen whenever and wherever I want! Wait a minute, young man. You mean to tell me this was all just so you could eat my ramen anytime? Well, that was a big part of it. So, your tonkotsu finally made the grade. Good thing you kept at it. Well, if it wasn't for you, it never would have happened. I really ought to thank you. I mean, who else would have thought to use sweet, succulent pig skinning up from Okinawa? And the way you crushed those thugs, it was pure artistry at work. And I'd like to find some way to thank you, mister. I never caught your name. It's Kiryu Kazuma.
Kiryu-san.
Kiryu-san, I really do appreciate you going out your way to help me. Here, take this ramen sample as a token of my gratitude. It's a test sample, but it's been approved by the master, so it's as good as anything you'll find in the restaurant. Thank you. Well then, Kiryu-san, it's high time I mosey on back to the company and boot up the assembly line for these babies. I'll send you the finished product once it's ready to go. Nice. All's well that ends well. You really pulled it off, huh? I'll tell you, that kid's got a lot of heart. Looks like you found yourself a worthy protege. Indeed. Wish my son had half the spark that kid does. Never thought my logo would end up on a cup of instant noodles. You know what? I can hardly wait to see it. I'll have to work extra hard to keep my customers coming to the restaurant instead of just buying it at the store. At any rate, what will you be having today? Well, I do need food, so this works for me. Thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. 6 years of my brother's life have been stolen away because of false charges. I'm asking for any help I can to save his life from unjust imprisonment. Can't be her. Read the truth! Oh, it's the journalist guy. Hey. Oh, Kiryu-san. What are you doing standing around here? And who's that? What's she handing out? I think they're... Hey, you over there! I knew it! It is you! You're that journalist! Look what happened to my brother thanks to you! What happened? I never intended for that to... Journalists only care about themselves. Do you have any idea what horrible things happen to people you write about? My brother didn't kill anybody! Sounds like you two have quite the past. Yeah. What happened exactly? Maybe we should talk someplace else. Sure. And now we have the best sub-story in the game! 6 years ago, there was a murder here at Cafe Alps. Here? The suspect was a man named Yuichi Akechi-san. The woman you just saw is his sister, Nozomi Akechi. Yuichi Akechi. I investigated the story and wrote an article implicating Yuichi-san as the murderer. And this was the article that woman was talking about.
Hi.
That's right. Yuichi has consistently denied any involvement in this crime since his arrest. To be honest, even though I wrote the article, I wasn't completely convinced he'd done the deed. I didn't even want to publish it. I didn't want to make him out to be the criminal before we had all the facts. Let me guess, it got published anyway. I was the only person in the department who even considered Yuichi-san might be innocent. And I was only just getting my start as a journalist, so I had to go along with what my department wanted to do. I dug much too far into Yuichi-san's life for my investigation. I interviewed his relatives, even people in his neighborhood. Because of my reporting, people started labeling the Akechi family as the murderer family. They were forced to move. Poor Nozomi-san got bullied a lot in school too. That kind of stuff happens, but I guess she does have a pretty good reason to resent you. Ever since Yuichi-san was declared guilty, I can't stop thinking about him. Should I have written that article? Were the charges against him false? False? You mean there's a chance Yuichi didn't do it? What makes you think that? I actually used to have a part-time job here a long time ago. Is that so? I worked with the Yuichi-san. We talked all the time, and I got to know him pretty well. I just don't think he's a murderer. After that story got published, I swore I'd never repeat the same mistake. I've become an honest journalist who only reports the truth. Are you really just gonna let this go then? What? You still have doubts about the case, right? Yes. Then shouldn't you be trying to discover the truth? You know what? You're right. I think I gave up after that article came out. But you're absolutely right. I think I'll look into it one more time. How should I go about it, though? I mean, it's been 6 years since the murder happened. I guess you gotta start by talking to everybody involved in the case. Sure, but what? Could you help me, Kiryu-san? Huh? If I don't find out the truth, I'll regret writing that article for the rest of my life. You want me to look into that old murder with you? Fuck yeah! Detective Kiryu on the case! Alright, I'll do it. Thank you! Shouldn't we get Date? He was a detective. Oh wait. They're not voice acting it. So give me the rundown. Here's the rundown.
事件が起こったのは
Oh, it
夜
is.
遅く、
Okay.
閉店後、従業員たちが清掃作業をしている時間でした。事件の第一発見者はウェイターの木下さんという男性でした。当時この店のウェイターだった明智雄一さんは清掃作業の途中、店の裏のゴミ捨て場に行こうとしました。その途中、ロッカールームの前を通りかかった時、雄一さんはわずかにドアが開いていることに気づきました。その時、ロッカールームの中では店長の小田さんとウェイトレスの宇佐美さんが抱き合っていました。その宇佐美という女性は雄一さんの恋人でした。雄一さんは恋人の浮気現場を目撃してしまったんです。
So emotive.
怒った雄一さんはロッカールームの中に入り、 店長の小田さんに掴みかかりました。その頃ウェイターの木下さんは客席の方でずっと清掃作業を続けていたんですが、雄一さんがなかなか戻ってこないことを不審に思って様子を見に行きました。すると木下さんは店の裏口から出ていく雄一さんの姿を見かけました。直後木下さんはロッカールームのドアが開いていることに気づき、中を覗いてみたところ、そこには頭から血を流して死んでいる店長の小田さんの姿が。警察の調べによると、死因は頭部打撲による脳挫傷。凶器は遺体のそばに落ちていた客席用の灰皿でした。
That's the gist of it. Wait, how do you know that there was a fight? I mean, you can't confirm unless somebody heard it or witnessed it. Did the girl come forward to say that they were fighting and he ended up dead? Because there was no mention of the girl afterwards. Wouldn't she also have been at risk of being killed if he was in a rage? I see. You really do know a lot about this case. But from what you say, Yuichi's motive seems pretty clear. Sounds obvious he killed the guy's girlfriend was cheating on him with.
Hey.
I'm sure that's what the police thought too. And when they discovered more evidence later, they decided to arrest Yuichi-san. They found more evidence? Oh, I should give you this. What is it? The notebook I used to collect information about the case. Please take a look at it. You might see something I missed. Okay. Access Wazoko's notebook by pausing, navigating to the item screen, pressing blah 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 blah. Select new information may be added to the notebook as the investigation unfolds. Check the notebook frequently to find hints as to where to go next. Do you think this was like the birth of the Judgment series? It's like, hey, we did that detective murder mystery sub-story once. Should we do it as a whole game? That sounds fun. If you get stuck, take another look at Wazuko's notebook and think about where you might need to go to find the next clue. Got it. Wakatta. Alright. Oh yeah, I got that. Wazuko's notebook. Suspect. Yuichi Akechi. Waiter at Cafe Alps. Was in relationship with waitress Usami. Passed locker room while closing store to witness Usami cheating with store manager Oda. Beat Oda to death with an ashtray? Witness fleeing scene by Kinoshita. Own fingerprints found on murder weapon. Convicted of murder, now serving sentence. Here's the main detective, Maeda. Junji Maeda. Detective for Police Investigations Division 1. Led murder investigation from its start. His initial suspicion of Akechi led to arrest. Unparalleled drinker found in the bars of Kamurocho almost all nights of the week. Dislikes coffee. So he goes out in bars and stuff. He'd be a good one to question. Oh, Nozomi. Akechi's sister, attending famous private school for girls. Plans to skip college and work post-graduation. Believes brother is innocent. Distributes flyers asking for help to get him for getting real trial. Victim. Manager of Cafe Alps, discovered by Akechi to be having an affair with waitress Usami. Beaten to death with an ashtray by Akechi? COD, cause of death, blunt force trauma to the head. And then here are the other employees who... Usami. Waitress at Cafe Alps had relationship with suspect Akechi. Had already ended shift on day of murder but stayed in store, witnessed by Akechi to be cheating with Oda. Okay. The witness at the scene of the crime. Waiter was cleaning with Akechi at time of murder, discovered Oda's body after witnessing Akechi fleeing the scene, then called the police. And then here's two other workers. Was closing register at time of murder. Yeah. And then this guy who wasn't there. Not present on day of murder. Okay. Alright, we got all of them then. First things first, because I don't think we can do much else. I think we should try and find the lead detective. And maybe talk to Nozomi as well. But I think the most important people to talk to would be Maeda, Kinoshita, and Usami. Obviously. What priority I should give her, I don't know. Let us go. I know of a few bars, so we're gonna have to check them all, but Bantam seems like a good option, you know? Bantam, it's the closest. Let's see. Is he here? Wow, that was lucky. I totally didn't know he was here already and was playing it up like I didn't. Oh, hello. Detective Maeda of the Kamurocho Police.
Oh,
What a surprise. If it isn't the 4th chairman of the Tojo clan. You know who I am. Hey, you're famous in this town. So what does the 4th chairman want with me, anyway? I want to ask you about the Cafe Alps murder from 6 years ago. That shitstorm? Yeah, that was my case. Why do you want to reopen that can of worms now? I'm trying to find out whether Yuichi Akechi really committed the murder or not. What? You're saying you think he was falsely charged? Not a chance in hell. No? Why not? Well, we aren't stupid, you know. The police don't arrest people without proof. We had plenty of evidence saying Akechi was the murderer. What kind of evidence? We had alibis, witness statements, fingerprints, and a motive. That did it. You've got all that evidence? Could you tell me a little bit more about it? Sure, I guess. Well, don't just stand there. Have a seat. Hi. Let's see. What should I ask? Tell me about the alibis. As part of our initial investigation, we interviewed everyone who may have been involved in the crime. In the end, the only person without one was Akechi. Nobody else could have murdered Oda. Guess we've got two choices. Either we find Yuichi an alibi, or we find a flaw in one of the others. Let's see. Tell me about the witness statements. Somebody witnessed Yuichi Akechi fleeing the scene just after the crime. Yeah, that was, I heard about that. The waiter. Masaru Kinoshita? That's the one. He gave a statement saying he saw Akechi. If it was me, I'd probably think Yuichi did it too. I wonder how I can refute Kinoshita's statement. Let's see. Tell me about the motive. Yuichi Akechi had plenty of motive to kill the victim, Oda. You mean because Oda was sleeping with Yuichi's girlfriend, Saoko Usami? Bingo! And we didn't find anybody else who might have had the reason to kill Oda. So they didn't find anybody else, huh? What if somebody else did have a reason to kill Oda? Let's see. Tell me about the fingerprints. The deciding factor in Akechi's arrest was his fingerprints. We took and compared fingerprints from each employee with those found on the murder weapon, but the only one that matched were Akechi's. We concluded that other prints came from cafe customers, so were unrelated. That sounds like pretty conclusive evidence. Was Akechi really the only person involved who had fingerprints on the murder weapon? So there you go. Solid evidence. But if you think we made a mistake, I'd sure like to hear it. Not enough to go on right now. Guess I'd better take a closer look into everything that was going on at the time. Do you know what the Cafe Alps staff from back then are doing nowadays? Sure, I can tell you that much, but I doubt you'll get anything new from them. Nice. I guess my next step is to go visit the people involved. The florist might know something too. I should go talk to him. The florist! That's a good idea! The florist! I should ask the florist about the Alps murder.
You.
Hey, Kiryu. I hear you're looking into the Cafe Alps murder. How did you know? Huh? How'd you hear about that? Don't underestimate my information network. I know everything that goes on in this town. I guess you do. So, do you know anything about the murder? I have the police reports in my database. What do you want to know? Tell me about the murder weapon. The same type of ashtray was found all over the cafe, but There was one significant difference between those and the murder weapon. Oh yeah? What was that? The weaponized ashtray had a chipped edge. Noticed. Do you know what happened? The day of the murder, a customer knocked the ashtray off the table onto the floor, chipping it. Akechi noticed it while he was cleaning up at closing time and decided to bring it out to the dumpster to throw it away. That's when he passed by the locker room and saw his girlfriend cheating. So there's no doubt Akechi touched the murder weapon that day. Nope. Normally, the ashtray would have been washed and all the fingerprints would have disappeared. But Akechi noticed that that particular ashtray had been chipped, so instead of washing it, he decided to throw it out. And by that twist of fate, everyone who touched it that day still had their prints all over it. So all the fingerprints on the murder weapon were all made on the day of the murder, huh? That is useful information! I have all the police reports in my database. Tell me about the fingerprints on the ashtray.
Ooh.
These are all the prints taken from the ashtray. All very different. Prints outlined in red matched Akechi's. This is apparently the evidence that led directly to the arrest. What about the other fingerprints? Well, one thing's for sure, none of them match the prints of any of the other employees at Cafe Alps at the time. They're thought to be from customers who visited the cafe that day, probably 2 or 3 people. Then one of these sets of prints might be from the real murderer. It's certainly possible. So the real murderer's prints could be on that ashtray, huh? You should be able to get more information from the people related to the case. If you haven't talked to all of them yet, you better do that. Thanks. You've been a big help. I owe you one. He'll take you up on it, too. Let's see. She's currently at Macball. He's at Cafe Alps. Theatre Square, Club Sega. And Nakamichi Poppo. So the closest one right now is Usami on the other side in Macball, so let's go there. Ah, there she is. Are you Sawako Usami? Yes. What do you want? I'm looking into the murder that happened at Cafe Alps 6 years ago. There's nothing left to say. Yuichi Akechi might not have killed Oda. If we're gonna find out the truth, I need to hear your account of what happened that day. Let's see, what to ask. You were there when Akechi confronted Oda, weren't you? Yeah. I mean, I was the reason they fought, so of course I was there. What happened after that? Did you see Akechi kill Oda? Yeah. I took off, so don't ask me. Took off? What do you mean? Do you have any idea what it feels like to have your significant other walk in on you when you're with someone else? Talk about awkward. Kidding. Not guilt. No feeling of I've done something wrong here. Awkward? And it would have been even more awkward if people started coming in to see what the fuss was all about. So I ran out the back door. What did you do after you left the cafe? I went home. Ryuichi followed me. We spent the night arguing about breaking up. Of course, I'd never imagined he'd already killed Oda-san. So, you're saying you didn't see Akechi kill Oda? That's right. And I told the police that too. So nobody actually saw Akechi kill Oda, huh? Didn't they have, like, security cameras in the back or anything? No? Let's see. Tell me about the person seen fleeing the scene. I don't know anything about that. I left the cafe before Yuichi did, so I don't know how he left. Right. Okay. Any idea why somebody would kill Oda? Are you trying to be funny? No, I mean, besides your relationship with Oda. Did he do anything to make anybody else mad? I don't know. The police would have known if he had any loans out or anything like that, right? I wasn't particularly close to him, really. We just ended up hooking up that night. I see. Maybe Akechi really did kill Oda after seeing him with Usami. They didn't find your fingerprints on the murder weapon, right? Right. They only found Yuichi's. We constantly replaced the customers' ashtrays with clean ones, but Yuichi must have been the only one to touch that one. I guess he was just unlucky. Yuichi took good care of the customers and replaced their ashtrays often. I think he must have noticed that one was chipped. One more. Oh, that's it. Are we through here? I'm supposed to be working. Right. Sorry. Thanks for the help. Cheating bitch. Alright! Let's go to the next one. You, right? Are you Asai, former employee of Cafe Alps? Yeah. Who are you? Kiryu Kazuma. I want to ask you about the murder that happened at Cafe Alps 6 years ago.
Oh, なるほどな。
Oh, that. So what do you want to know? Let's see. You were at the cafe at the time of the murder, weren't you?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I was closing the register. It was after we'd closed for the night. So you didn't go anywhere near the murder scene, the locker room?
Huh?
Of course not. I mean, why would I? I was still working, wasn't I? What? He's acting kind of funny. Do you know anything about the person seen running from the scene of the crime?
Yeah?
No, I don't know anything. I only found out a murder had taken place while Kinoshita-san showed up looking as white as a sheet. I didn't see the murderer at all. I see. Oh, but I didn't see Oda-san's body. Oh, I can still see it. Blech. So Asai went into the locker room after the murder escaped, huh? Do you know anybody with a motive to kill Oda? Well, you reap what you sow. I mean, it was bad enough that he was always messing around at the workplace, but going after another employee's woman? Get a grip. You make it sound like you'd slept with other women at the cafe before.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. I saw him hook up with another woman there once. Another woman? Got a name for her? Yeah, I think her last name was Saito. I guess she was dating Oda-san at the time of the murder. I don't see anybody named Saito listed among the people related to the case. She'd already quit the cafe by that time. I heard she still hung around Oda-san, though. So Oda was dating somebody at the time. They're both cheating pieces of shit. Your fingerprints weren't found on the murder weapon. Isn't that strange, seeing as you were one of the waiters?
Oh.
I just didn't like doing the ashtrays. I always left that to other people. So it's pretty natural my fingerprints wouldn't be on it, I guess. I see. I guess that's it for now. This job was pretty boring, so thanks for helping me kill some time. You can ask me more whenever you want. I see. Are you sure there isn't anything else you want to tell me?
Huh?
What do you mean? It's not like I have anything to hide. Asai sounds like he knows more. I just don't have enough information right now to get it out of him. I should talk to him again when I know more. He's hiding something, he is. Let's look for keys, actually. I'm looking for keys. They don't let us read the mags in this one. It's stupid, poopy, stupid, poopy, stupid. I'm the key. Can you ask this? No. Fine. Ojimashimasu! Hello. Is this not the right one? Oh my god, I mixed them up, didn't I? I mixed Nakamichi up with Theatre Square. I'm a big dumb, aren't I? Oh my gosh. Big fucking idiot. Big fucking idiot. Idiot. Big fucking idiot. Big idiot, that's me. I didn't realize I was mixing up Nakamichi and Theatre Square. How the fuck do you even mix them up? I don't know, but I did. Okay, this. There we go. Found you. You're Imagawa, right? That's right. Who are you? I'm looking into the Cafe Alps murder from 6 years ago. What? Let's see. They say you weren't at the cafe on the day of the murder. Is that true? Yes. I spent the whole day at home. Alone? No. Some friends came over and we played video games. And these friends corroborated your alibi? That's right. So it wasn't me. Let's see. Do you know anything about the man seen fleeing the scene? No, I didn't see anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't hear anything. Getting somewhere here. Can you think of anybody who'd want to kill Oda? I don't know anything. Don't ask me. Your prints weren't found on the murder weapon, were they? Next, you're going to start saying I wore gloves. Well, you're wrong. I wasn't anywhere near the cafe that day. Guess it stands to reason your prints wouldn't be on it. Oh, that was helpful. I don't know anything about the murder. Just leave me alone. Man, this guy's got a persecution complex. Let me know if you remember anything from around the time of the murder. Doesn't matter how small. I didn't do anything. Honest. You have to believe me. Everyone's saying I'm the murderer, aren't they? Aren't they? No, nobody's saying anything about you. I don't believe you. Everyone's hated me at that cafe. They used to harass me. Harassed you? How? Someone even stole my wallet, CDs, and uniform out of my locker on the day of the murder. I don't know what happened to his voice. Are you sure the police didn't pick them up as evidence? Absolutely sure. Someone was harassing me, I tell you. So somebody stole Imagawa's things, huh? I got something and a key! Fantastic, number 7. I think we should ask Arai about what we found out. Or was it Asai? I want to ask Asai. By the way, do you remember Imagawa? Imagawa? Sounds familiar. Your co-worker from Cafe Alps. Mr. Gloomy? Yeah, I remember him now. Imagawa says he had things stolen from his locker. You know anything about that, Asai? What? You think I had something to do with it? Yes. Yes. Look, I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to find out what you know. Well, I might have tried to make a quick buck or two off him. All I took was a wallet and some CDs I sold off later. Anything else? Huh? Like what? You didn't steal Imagawa's uniform?
Yeah.
Uniform? I didn't make any money off that. All I stole was his wallet and CDs, that's all. So that's all else I took, huh? Maybe the police really did take the uniform. Oh yeah, he did say uniform. Somebody who maybe didn't work in there, who might have hung around a bit, might have taken the uniform. Thank you very much, Lee. I think we're good now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Wait, no, I'm gonna go save her, then we'll do it. Oh, she's back. She's back. I want to talk to her. Good. Hello? Weren't you the guy who's with that reporter? What do you want? You told me about the case. I'm helping him look for information to try and prove your brother's innocence. Huh? What are you talking about? He feels responsible, so we're looking for a way to help your brother. Oh, really? Well, you're too late. My brother's been in prison for 6 years. Do you think you could just waltz up to me and pretend you care now? Just leave me alone. Okay, that went well. Oh yeah. You're Kinoshita-san, right? That's right. Who are you? Kiryu Kazuma. I want to ask you about the murder that happened at this cafe 6 years ago. Oh, that. Well, I don't know if I can tell you anything new, but go ahead. Let's see. Where were you? And what were you doing when Oda was killed? I was here in the customer area, cleaning up. I believe you can see me on the security camera tapes. I wasn't in the locker room when the murder took place. They say you saw Yuichi Akechi fleeing the scene on the night of the crime. Tell me more about that.
Ah,
Yes, I saw him. That night, Akechi-kun disappeared right in the middle of the cleanup. I waited a while, and when he didn't come back, I went to check on him. And that's when I saw him leaving through the back door of the cafe. Are you sure it was Akechi? Well, I only saw his back, but I was sure it was him. If you didn't see his face, then how can you be sure it was Akechi? The man I saw leave through the back door was wearing our cafe's waiter's uniform. The stolen uniform, maybe? Aside from Oda-san, there were only 3 other male employees working that night. Akechi-kun, a guy called Asai-kun, and me. You can see Asai-kun spending the night closing the register on the security tapes. The only person I could have seen would have been Akechi-kun. I see. After that, I called the police and waited at the back door until they showed up. No one tried to enter or leave during that time, so Kinoshita didn't see the criminal's face. Good information. Did Oda have any enemies? Well, I'm not sure. I didn't really talk to him much outside of work. I see. Were your prints on the murder weapon? No, they weren't. I keep thinking that if I had touched that ashtray that day, I would have been blamed for the murder. That's all. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help. Thanks for your time. Are you a detective, Kiryu-san? Not exactly. Why'd you ask?
Yeah.
No reason. I was just wondering why anybody would be looking into that case now. I'm trying to help a friend find out if Yuichi Akechi is innocent. Innocent? You think someone else could have been the murderer? It's possible. I see. I'd feel terrible for Akechi-kun if he really was innocent all this time. I can't imagine what it's like to be imprisoned for a crime I didn't commit. Especially for 6 years. That'd be horrible. Try 10. Try 25. That's why we're trying to find out the truth. If you think of anything else, let me know. Okay, I will. I've talked to everybody related to the case, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be easy to prove Yuichi Akechi's innocence. I should meet up with Wazuko at Cafe Alps. I was right there, bro. She's still there, okay. I will talk to him. Oh, funny seeing you here. What's up? I'm taking one of my clients out on the town. We were in the area, so I thought I'd drop in and see you. Short, very short hair. Taking your clients out on the town? Don't you mean you're going to one of those host clubs? My client just happens to like host clubs, really. It's just a coincidence. Speaking of which, isn't your perfume a bit strong tonight? Oh, really? I didn't think so, but... Oh, look at the time. Okay, I've got to go. That Yuko. Who was that woman talking to Kinoshita? That's Kinoshita-san's wife, Yuko-san. Yuko. Kinoshita-san's wife? How do you know that? She's actually used to work here. That's how I know her. The woman that quit. Oda's girlfriend? Who would come in and hang around Oda? Yeah. She worked here? Is that so? That's right. She already quit by the time the murder happened, though. And she wasn't on the security tapes of the dining area, so she definitely wasn't at the cafe that day. I see. But if there weren't any cameras in the back, otherwise they would have probably known who did it. For real. Properly. You know. Then it's possible. It doesn't sound like Kinoshita's wife, Yuko, is involved in the case. Maybe I should look into her anyway. I'm gonna do that. Be right back. Wait, can I check this? There we go. Wife of Masaru Kinoshita. Worked as waitress at Cafe Alps but had quit by time of murder. Said not to have attended Alps day of murder. Often visits host clubs. Right. There's only one I know of, so let's try there. Is that? That looks like Kinoshita's wife, Yuko.
Kiryu-san.
Oh, Kiryu-san. What brings you here? Hi, Yuya. Yuya, what can you tell me about that woman over there? Who? Oh, you mean Yuko-san? She's been a regular customer of ours for years. What do you want with her? She looks awfully rich for somebody so young.
Oh.
She manages a venture-funded startup. Her company got popular making products targeted at young women, and it's been growing pretty fast over the last 4 or 5 years. Is that so? Naruhodo. Oh, Yuya, who is that? I haven't seen him here before. Is he a new host?
Oh.
Yuka-san. This is Kiryu-san. Kiryu-san, please stop looking at her breasts. We owe you a lot. We owe a lot to this man here, and no, he's not a host. Oh, I see. Well, that's unfortunate. This is my company, by the way. If you ever need anything, just give me a call. Sure. Stop staring at her breasts. Bye now. Tonight was fantastic. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again. Okay. I've collected all the information I can right now. I should go back and see Detective Maeda. Can I look at her business card? Where is it? All my hostesses I've pounded. Ah, there it is. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, I'll go back to Detective Maeda. Wait. Hello. Nope, I still don't see anything off about any of this. Do you have a minute? Oh, it's you. So, did you find proof of Akechi's innocence yet? What was that you were looking at? Oh, this? This is the list of evidence we made during the investigation 6 years ago. You're taking such a hard look at this case, I thought I'd better take another glance myself. Can I see that? I guess, but you won't find anything wrong with any of it. I honestly can't figure out why you think Akechi is innocent. Wait a minute. What's this? By Jove, I think I've got it. What's that? I finally got it. Was it really this simple all along? No mistake about it. Somebody framed Akechi. I guess he would know a thing or two about crime and framing and shit.
Nani?
What? Are you serious? Yeah. I'll explain everything, but first, I need you to round up everybody related to the case. But it'll turn out fine. You'll see. Okay. Just don't blame me if it doesn't. I'll get everybody together at Cafe Alps. That ought to work, right? Yeah, that's fine. Can I see? I've got all the evidence I need. It's time to reveal what really happened 6 years ago. That was a very dramatic camera angle. Oh my goodness. Can I look at it? Oh wow, list of evidence. List of evidence. I've got all the testimonies as well. Okay, well, let's go! Let's go solve a murder! Wait! Konnichiwa, everyone. Konnichiwa, minasama. Well, I did as you asked, Detective. I closed the cafe and kicked everyone out. Now, what is this all about? Kiryu-san and his friend here would like to talk to all of you.
Hi.
I have you here for one reason, and one reason alone. I'm sure you will remember that murder that took place here 6 years ago. The victim was Kazuo Oda-san, the manager of this cafe at the time. One of the employees, Yuichi Akechi-san, was arrested for his murder. But did Akechi really kill Oda-san? I'd like to ask each and every one of you to think back on that day. Do any of you have any evidence? Any truly conclusive evidence that Akechi-san was really the one who killed Oda-san? I've been struggling with one question since the day of that murder. Could Akechi-san actually be innocent? But before I could find out for sure, an article I wrote implicating Akechi-san as the murderer got published. but thanks to Kiryu-san here, we finally arrived at the truth of what happened 6 years ago. But if Akechi-kun is innocent, that means someone else is guilty. Exactly. Unless he, like, hit himself in the head. But... What do you base all this on, Kiryu-san? I need to show them proof of Yuichi Akechi's innocence. What would prove it? To prove his innocence... It can't be this. This doesn't prove it. I would say this. Let me check. It's not that. What is it then? This? Was at the scene but failed to win. Ah! Yes, that's true. That's also a good one, though. Okay, but then that could lead into the thievery, right? Was at the scene but failed to witness Akechi murder order. Let's try it. Is that really it? That's what it says. Isami was the one who saw Akechi and Oda fight the day of the murder. Isn't that right? Yeah, but I left in the middle of it. In other words, she didn't actually see Akechi-san kill Oda-san. Exactly. And only Usami saw Oda and Akechi fighting. So we can't conclude Yuichi Akechi killed Oda, which means the charges against him could be false. Sorry, but that doesn't hold water. What do you mean? Akechi's prints were on the weapon used to kill Oda. That's solid evidence to prove Akechi did it. Is that all you have to say? Huh? What do you mean? This was your case. You ought to know Akechi's fingerprints on that murder weapon alone weren't enough to convict him. I don't follow you. Spell it for us, will you? There's evidence I should show them now. This? Well, there were more fingerprints on it. Yeah. The ashtray used as the murder weapon hadn't been washed because it was supposed to be thrown out. Akechi's prints weren't the only ones on it. That means you can't prove his guilt from the fingerprints alone. Detective, is that true? Yes, it's just as he says. So you admit it might not have been my brother?
Yeah.
But that's still not enough to prove somebody else did it. Somebody witnessed Akechi fleeing the scene. That's another piece of solid evidence. No, they saw someone with the uniform on. Think about it. You'd think the person actively fleeing the scene of a crime is the culprit, wouldn't you? Why'd they run away if they didn't do anything? What did you have to say about that?
Hello.
Kiri-san, do you have any information to refute that witness statement about Akechi-san? Let's see. I don't even need to look at the walkthrough for this. I just need this. The face wasn't seen. Just a uniform, and we know that a uniform was stolen from Doki Dude, which was not stolen by Asai, who had stolen things from his locker previously. So, it was someone else. Right? Wait. Yep. Kinoshita, you saw Akechi fleeing the scene, right? Yes, I did. Are you sure? I'm not lying. I'm sure I saw him. But you didn't see the face of the person fleeing the scene. You said that, right? Yeah. I only saw his back. So then it's possible you saw somebody else. Is that all you got? The police wouldn't have arrested Akechi on just the old vague evidence, you know? There was also something that proved the person Kinoshita-san saw was in fact Akechi. And what was that? The man Kinoshita-san saw leaving the scene of the crime was wearing a Cafe Alps waiter's uniform. The only waiters employed at Cafe Alps at the time were Kinoshita-san, Asai-san, Imagawa-san, and Akechi-san. The security tapes show Kinoshita-san and Asai-san out front at the time of the murder. You've also confirmed that Imagawa-san was at home. Therefore, by process of elimination, the only waiter Kinoshita-san could have seen was Akechi. Kiri-san, is that true? No, it's absolutely possible that the person Kinoshita saw was not Akechi. I have the statement to prove it.
Nani?
Well then, why don't you share this statement with us? I have a statement. The stolen uniform. Imagawa. Something was stolen from Imagawa's locker. Boo boo doo boo. What's the florist? Yeah, okay. There was actually another crime committed at this cafe the day of the murder 6 years ago. Eh? Another crime? That's the first I've heard of it. Imagawa's uniform disappeared from his locker in the Cafe Alps locker room that day. Imagawa-kun's uniform? Yes, my uniform disappeared from my locker. Since you weren't present on the day of the murder, when did you notice it was missing? The day after Oda-san was murdered, I came to work. The police were investigating, so I couldn't go in. But once the police left, I looked in my locker and saw that my uniform was gone. Come on, the police probably took it as evidence. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff missing from the crime scene. Dude, wouldn't you know? You were the detective. You would have known if it was put in evidence. You're wrong. Someone was definitely harassing me. Everyone teased me. As I could, why don't you tell them you took my uniform? You took everything else. The uniform must have been you too. You're so whiny. Bully. Police. Whoever took it. It has nothing to do with Akechi or this case. No, Imagawa's uniform is the key to this case. What do you mean? I'll show you right now. 2 pieces of evidence that prove what happened to Imagawa's uniform. 2 pieces? Well, we've got him. He didn't take the uniform. I think this. It says list of evidence. A list of evidence. Oh, yeah! It would have been in the inventory, right? And the other piece of evidence is this one. He didn't steal it. Look at the list of evidence I borrowed from you. There's no waiter's uniform on it. You would have known this, you dingbat! Let's see. You're right. I don't see any waiter's uniform listed. In other words, the uniform disappeared before the police showed up. If the police didn't confiscate it, who could have taken it? It was Asai could, right? No, not Asai. He did steal things from you, true. But he wasn't doing it to harass you. He was just after some cash. Your wallet and CDs make sense, but your uniform wouldn't have been worth anything. Well, then, who did it? Oh, you mean the murderer took it? Exactly. The criminal wanted to make it look like somebody else committed the crime, so they stole the waiter's uniform and changed into it. Then, as soon as somebody came by, they hid their face and ran out of the back exit. Is that true?
Kiryu-san.
So you're saying the person who stole Imagawa's uniform and fled the scene is the real criminal? Yes. And who might that be? The real criminal is... I mean, let's do a process of elimination. He was the one who found the body. But he was outside on the cameras. The cameras saw him. So it couldn't have been him. She ran out before she saw anything happen, so it couldn't be her. He was cashing up the register. He wasn't in. He's in prison already. It wouldn't have been her. It wouldn't have been him. It could have been her. The uniform was stolen. She was Oda's girlfriend and would hover around a lot. And she used to work there, so she would have known how to get access to the back rooms. She would have also known how to get into the lockers to take things. And she has short hair, which could be easily confused because they literally have the same fucking hair look. Could easily be confused for one another from behind. And he looks like he's got a small build himself, so... Blah blah blah, bim bam bom, you go! Yes, this is the only person it could have been.
Kiryu-san, それではその人物の名前を教えてください。6年前、小田さんを殺し、明智さんに罪をかぶせた事件の真犯人とは一体。
犯人はお前だ。木下優子、お前が小田を殺した真犯人だ。
Huh? Are you serious? I can't believe it. What? Yuko killed Oda-san? An interesting theory. But why would I kill Oda-san? I didn't have any reason to do anything like that.
Yeah, Yuichi Akechi's motive was Usami-san's relationship with Oda-san. Exactly how are Yuko-san and Oda-san connected? I need to well, they were together. They were together. Oda was dating somebody at the time of the murder. Somebody who used to work as a waitress at Cafe Alps.
What? Is that true?
Yeah. And her last name was Saito.
Saito?
That's Yuko's maiden name. I hear you worked at this cafe until just before the time of the murder. Dun dun dun.
Yuko-san and Oda-san were dating?
I didn't know that. Yuko-san, is that true?
I don't have to answer that. Yes, you do! Yuko. If Oda-san was dating Yuko-san, then Usami-san wasn't the only one cheating. Oda-san was cheating too. And that means Yuko-san also had a motive to kill Oda-san. So, anyone with a motive is a killer? You haven't done anything but hypothesize.
Exactly. You've only talked about possibilities. You have any conclusive evidence that she murdered him? Conclusive evidence? Like fingerprints? If only I had something with Yuko's fingerprints on it. Oh, that would have her fingerprints on it. This is the evidence.
Is that my business card?
This business card has your fingerprints on it. We should be able to compare the prints on this card to the ones on the murder weapon. Give me that business card. Let's check it out right now. Can you do that? Can you do that? We finished analyzing the prints on the card. It took 5 hours, but we've finally got that. These are Yuko Kinoshita's prints. And these are the prints on the ashtray. Oh, I see a match. There.
The prints on Yuko-san's business card are the same as the one on the murder weapon.
I don't believe it. How do you explain that?
Even if my prints are on the ashtray, so what? How does that change anything?
What do you mean?
I ate at Alps the day of the murder. I must have just touched the ashtray while I was there.
Do you smoke? She's right. There's no crime in touching an ashtray. She was just a customer. No, Yuko's lying. I should call her out on it.
What proves her otherwise?
Oh, that's what they said. There's no record of you. Ah, right. See, I should read them all through before I look to my left to the... No, my right to the walkthrough. No, you're lying.
What the hell are you talking about?
There's no record of you coming to the cafe the day of the murder. Right, Detective Maeda? He's right. We had Cafe Alps employees watch all the security tapes, and they gave statements that no other cafe employees, former or otherwise, visited the cafe that day. Right, Kinoshita-san? That's right. I've seen Yuko-san's face before, so I would have noticed if she was on those tapes. She definitely wasn't. Which means you didn't come to Cafe Alps on the day of the murder as a customer. So why were your fingerprints on the ashtray then? Fine. Maybe it wasn't on the day of the murder. It might have been the day before. It's not that big of an issue. Nope, you had to have been there on the day of the murder. This is where the evidence I was looking at comes in. You weren't a customer, you were the real murderer. The only people who could have had prints on the murder weapon were those who visited the day of the murder. How do you come to that conclusion? And now for the coup de grace. I just need something to prove when the prints on the murder weapon were made. The florist testimony. The ashtrays here are cleaned every day, but your prints were still on the murder weapon. That means you had to have been there on the day of the murder. But the day of the murder, a customer dropped the ashtray, chipping it. Yuichi Akechi saw that chipped ashtray and instead of washing it, decided to throw it out. Since you couldn't have come to the cafe as a customer that day, there's only one time you could have left your prints on the ashtray. You did it after Akechi dropped the ashtray in the locker room when he witnessed Usami cheating on him with Oda. Sometime after Akechi left and before Kinoshita came to check up on him, you entered the locker room and murdered Oda. Then you put on Imagawa's uniform and went out the back. Isn't that right? Yuko-san, is what Kiryu-san says true? It'll only get worse if you stay quiet. Shut up! I told you I didn't do it! I give up! Yuko! I'm putting an end to this! What? Do you know something, Kinoshita-san? I knew you came to the cafe that day, Yuko. What? How? I could smell you. It was very faint, but I could smell your perfume all around the crime scene. No way. Why didn't you say this earlier? I'd been in love with Yuko ever since we worked together. That's why I knew the scent of her perfume the minute I smelled it. Sometime after the murder, I happened to run into her again. Eventually, we started dating. One day, I brought her up the murder and her face went white. She felt quiet and avoided commenting on anything. That's when I was sure Yuko had been there the day of the crime. Well, I'll be. But I still don't know exactly what that meant, or I should say I didn't want to know what that meant. When I found out Kiryu-san was looking into that old crime, I decided to keep it all a secret. But now Yuichi Akechi has suffered 6 years for a crime he didn't commit. All because I didn't say anything. It's all my fault! If I'd just spoken up, none of this would have happened. Gee, Kinoshita-san.
さあ、もう言い逃れはできないぜ。
優子さん、今一度尋ねます。あなたが小田さんを殺したんですか？
そうよ。私がやったのよ。
Will you give a statement that Yuichi Akechi is innocent? Yes. Akechi-san had nothing to do with the murder. Yuko, how could you have done such a thing? Was it really just because Oda-san was cheating? Of course that's what it was about. He said he was going to marry me.
事件が起こった日、あの日は彼の小田さんの誕生日だった。だから私は彼を驚かそうと思ってプレゼントを持ってお店に向かったの。もうお店も閉まっている時刻だったから裏口から入ってロッカールームに向かったわ。でもそこで見たのは他の女と浮気してる彼の姿だった。私はとっさに身を引いて隠れた。落ち着いて目の前で何が起きてるのか理解しようと努めたわ。そのすぐ後に明智さんがやってきた。明智さんはロッカールームの中を覗いて小田さんと宇佐美さんの浮気現場を目撃すると手に持っていた灰皿を落とし小田さんに掴みかかっていったわ。言い争うような声が聞こえた後すぐに宇佐美さんがロッカールームから出てきて裏口から店の外へ出て行ったわ。すぐに明智さんも宇佐美さんの後を追って店の外へ出て行ってしまった。明智さんと宇佐美さんが出て行った後私はロッカールームの中へ入っていった。 小田さんは私の姿を見てすごいびっくりしたみたいだったけど、浮気がバレたことが分かると開き直って別れ話を切り出してきたわ。宇佐美と一緒になるつもりだから別れてくれってね。その言葉を聞いた途端完全に頭に血が上っちゃって、気がついたら近くに落ちてた灰皿で小田さんを殴っていたわ。それからは桐生さんが言った通りよ。私はロッカーにあった制服に着替えてわざと裏口の前で誰かが来るのを待っていた。少しして誰かが客席の方からやってきたから顔を見られないようにして裏口から出て行った。それで部外者の自分には絶対に疑いがかからないだろうって思ったわ。
Several years passed. I ran into Kinoshita-san and we eventually got married. I started selling things as a hobby and it soon turned into a business. Before I knew it, it grew into a large company. It's been 6 years since that day, and my life's been going so well. I can't believe the truth came out now, of all times. Yuko-san, did you ever think what it felt like for Akechi-san to have to bear these false charges? What it felt like to be knocked down to rock bottom and have his freedom stolen from him these past 6 years? And think what would have happened if we hadn't revealed the truth just now. How many more years would he have suffered? Only the person who took Akechi-san's freedom away can give that back. You need to turn yourself in. Testify in front of a court and pay for your crimes. Can I escort you to the station? Yes. Yuko! I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. Masaru. Thank you. All's well that ends well? Extra, extra! Guilty criminal of 6-year-old murder turns herself in. The man originally accused of the crime now stands to be acquitted at a new trial. I was wrong about the media. I thought you just went from one person to the next, looking for gossip. I didn't think you cared about the people in your articles. I figured you just forgot about them the second they left your pages. But you've been worrying about my brother this whole time. You even proved his innocence. There are decent people in the media. Been few and far between, but they are there. Thank you so much for helping him. Nozomi-san. I also have an apology for the way I have to apologize for the way I treated you. I want to give you a reward for helping me get a retrial for my brother.
Yeah.
You don't owe me anything. As much as I hate to admit it, I didn't do anything on this one. Proving your brother's innocence was all the work of Kiryu-san here. I certainly don't deserve any reward from you. What are you talking about? You did what a real journalist is supposed to do.
Eh?
What do you mean? Sure, you wrote an article saying Akechi was a murderer, but now you've written an article clearing his name. Isn't that the way a real journalist is supposed to resolve things? Sure, but I won't let this be the end of it. I'll continue to follow the truth until the day I put down my pen. That's my duty as a reporter. And I'll be cheering you on. Oh yes, all's well that ends well. Yes, very much so. I got money! All's well that ends well, eh? That's seriously one of the best sub-stories in the series. It's such a good sub-story. It's so good, man. A murder mystery. Like, bro, that's so freaking cool. Oh, man, oh, man. Shake handle. I thought he was gonna say the Japanese one, but he said shake a handle.
では行け。お前たち2人でいいんだな。